Welcome to Mimesis, the podcast about all the twisted ways that art and life imitate each other. I'm Stacey Rourke.
And I'm Sandra Sheriff-Zackerly.
And we're your hosts on this zany adventure.
We are.
And this adventure has been kicking my ass. Literally.
A little bit.
This adventure told me to sit down, bitch. You've had enough.
You need to stop for today.
It's literally, my subdivision is going to have a subdivision-wide garage sale coming up.
Well,
so
fun.
I thought, what?
I said fun.
Yes, I thought I would get up into the attic and get out some of the stuff because we have boxes that we have not opened since we moved from Michigan to Florida. And I'm like, clearly some of that shit can go because if I haven't opened it in 5 years, I don't need it.
Right.
So I was up in my attic and I was trying to get boxes down. And I know when you're walking in an attic, you walk on the trusses. You walk on the trusses. You don't step in between the trusses. I know that.
Yeah.
But I lost my footing and I put my foot down on the drywall to catch myself. And the drywall gave beneath my feet. And I fell through. Thankfully, and I say thankfully, even though I'm pretty sure I bruised a rib, I caught, my body caught on a 2x4. My back hit a 2x4. My leg hit a pipe. And I was dangling there long enough that I could hoist myself up. But I am now very, very bruised and very, very sore. And this literally happened like an hour ago. So
and I'm so glad that you were able to hoist yourself up. This is why you work out.
This is why I work. This is all those Peloton workouts that I pimp all the time on here. It's because I'm a notorious klutz, and I work out to save my own fucking life. Okay, Yes, I was able to hoist myself. I tried to hoist myself up once, and more of the drywall gave, where I was like, "Oh shit, I'm actually going down." But I was able to like put my hands down on the 2x4 and just hold myself there until the rest of the drywall stopped breaking away. And then I could hoist myself up and get out. But even like I'm acting it out here. Even this motion, this hurts now. Yeah. This hurts. Yeah. So like I know tomorrow and the day after, I'm going to be so sore. And my husband, I got to send him a picture. Yeah, I got to send him a picture of the giant hole that's in the garage roof. And he was like, guess I get to add that to the to list. But then bless his heart, he was like, I'm glad you didn't get hurt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you unlocked a new fear for me because you said if you would have fallen through, you would have fell on top of the table saw.
Yes, I would have.
And that's like,
yeah, because I could have turned it on the way down, like when I fell on it.
Right. That's all scary.
It was all bad. And my kids were watching this happen.
And nobody offered a ladder?
Well, there wasn't time.
Okay.
There wasn't time. Elliot was trying to decide if she should clear out the space beneath me or if she should go up the ladder and try to help me out. Like she was trying to assess what to do. And Madeline was just frozen in fear. She said, Ellie said she looked like the Scream painting where she was just like, oh, the whole time. But even when I got down, Ellie's like, you hoisted yourself up. She did not see that coming.
So you have one that went into fight or flight, and you had one who went into the freeze.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened. Both of them were just like, and now they're like, Mom, you just need to sit down for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you're damn right. I do. Everything hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you, my dear.
I'm sick again.
Again with this crud.
I know. Evan was sick last week. Somehow I managed to pick up whatever he had, and now I've got a cold again.
That's horrible.
Lovely. Yeah. Small little cough.
Yeah. See, that's what happens when you have little kids. You get every amount of crud that's going around.
Yeah, and I didn't think his was going to be that bad. Like I was going to get sick off of him because he has just an ear infection. But no, whatever he had before the infection is what I got.
Yep, exactly. Mm-hmm. Well, I hope it finally passes for you.
It should. I already feel better. I mean, I texted, we were going to record a couple days ago, and I was like, I just feel like crap. But I already feel so much better from then.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So you had fun yesterday.
I did, and that is what we are going to talk about today. Because
Yes.
you go on TikTok. Well, let me preface that by saying my daughter and I went to MegaCon in Orlando yesterday. We had a fantastic time. We are already planning on going back next year. But this, to me, seems like a Mimesis episode because you see pictures and you see videos and TikToks
Yes.
of people at these conventions, and it just gives you a glimpse of like, wow, that's fantastic. I want to go, which,
Yeah.
absolutely check it out. But it doesn't give you a real insight into conventions like that.
And what the day is
I didn't,
actually like?
yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to really give people an insight into what I experienced. And this is not me like coming in and saying I'm an expert. No, I've gone once, but this is as a newbie. If you too are a newbie and you want to know what to expect at this kind of thing, I'm your girl. Let me help you out because
Yeah.
that's what I went through yesterday. And like I said, I'm already planning on going back next year. So yes, I will be going back. I did enjoy myself, but there are things that I won't do again. There are things that I definitely will do again. And, so we're going to talk about that today.
Yeah. I'm excited. Like,
Yeah,
I really want to go. I've never really been to a con.
it's so much fun. It's
Yeah.
so much fun. Like we met a friend, and I will tell you about this girl as we get going. But we ended up spending 2 hours with this girl who she was just there by herself, and she happened to be, kind of traveling the same path we were and going to the same panels we were.
Yeah.
And we just hung out with her for like 2 hours. Her name was Patty. She lives here in Orlando.
Awesome.
And we didn't exchange any information when we were done. We were just like, all right, have a good day. Bye. It was cool.
That's awesome.
So, the first tip I'm going to give to anybody, a lot of times at conventions like this, you have the option to do 1 day, 2 days, the entire length of the time, whatever you want to do. We did a 1 day. And if you're doing a convention like this for the first time, I would absolutely recommend doing a 1 day because you
Just a
don't
1 day.
know. You don't know if this is going to be the thing for you. You don't know if it's going to be, if you're going to end up with social anxiety with being in a crowd
Right.
like that. So, starting with a 1 day, I'm completely glad that I did that. The one bad side is that we did Saturday, and Sunday was the day that they had the Scream panel where,
Yeah.
I could have been, it was Skeet Ulrich, Matthew Lillard, and Nev Campbell were going to be there. So I could have seen all of them if we were there Sunday.
And
that
that's like your
sucks.
favorite movie.
Exactly. So I could have seen them. But anyway, I limit. I will say MegaCon, and I don't know what other conventions do this. I'm sure Comic-Con probably does. DragonCon probably does. They give you the option if you're driving to prepay for your parking.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and I did,
Okay.
and I'm so glad that I did because there are people who drive, like our parking lot was full. There was two other ones that were prepay that were full up, and there were some people that were going from lot to lot trying to figure out where to park.
Yeah.
So I completely recommend that. If you can prepay, you know exactly where to go. I did do something stupid when I pulled into the parking lot, though.
What did you do?
They told me to follow the car in front of me.
Okay.
All right. The car in front of me had a student driver sticker on the bumper. And already I'm like, are you sure? Is this the person I should be following? Are we sure about this? But I followed this person, and this person went up and down 2 different rows without parking, and then went out back where we came from. And they were being waved left to go back out. And I'm like, I'm not going to follow the student driver anymore. I have a feeling they were just allowed in here enough to like drive around the parking lot and go out, but they told me to follow this person.
Right.
So, MegaCon mistake number one, don't follow the fucking student driver. So I went back and the lady was like, just pull into any spot and park.
You're like, okay.
Okay, I'll do that
Thanks.
instead. So you get there and there's people in costumes everywhere.
Right,
And
because it's cosplay.
yes, and it's so much fun to do. Like it's like a Where's Waldo. There's Wolverine. There's Princess Peach.
Yeah.
There's Star-Lord. I saw for our Star Wars fans, I saw two young boys. One was dressed as Boba Fett, and the other was dressed as the Mandalorian.
Nice.
And the Mandalorian had the black saber in his hand and was poking his brother Boba Fett with the lightsaber or the dark saber until he like turned around and swatted at him. And I'm like, that's just so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It was hysterical. So we had to take a bus from the parking lot to the structure.
Okay.
And getting in there, now you know, and you yourself, we're Disney people.
Yes.
So when it comes to big crowds, we are used to organization.
Yes.
We're used to things being handled properly, and you know, it's down to a science.
Yeah.
And the entering process wasn't bad. You know, you get in, you just kind of go with the flow. There wasn't a lot of signage. I kind of wish there was more.
Okay.
But you just kind of go with the flow of traffic. And then you get your badge, but then you have to activate your badge, which was kind of dumb. So there's a huge cluster of people trying to figure out how to activate their badge. And it's causing a big traffic jam because
Right.
all of them were, you know, you had to use the code to try to activate it.
That seems like too many steps that you don't need to do.
Thank you. That's what I thought. It seems to me when you are handed your badge that they should activate it for you right then.
Right.
Instead of making people do it, it's just causing more traffic. But that's on them. Whatever. And then you get in there and they deposit you directly into the vendor booths. And while we were there, the traffic through the vendor booths really almost made it unenjoyable for me to even like try to look around and shop.
Okay.
There was so many people there.
Okay.
Maybe later in the day might be better. First thing in the morning, just don't even bother. There's too many people there.
Yeah.
So we went, you go up 2 floors at the Orlando Convention Center, and that's where their panel discussions are. So we broke free from the chaos of the vendor booths, and we went straight upstairs to the panel discussion for Jodie Benson.
Yes. Which you sent me a video, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's like a lifelong goal.
Oh my gosh. And first of all, she's so sweet and so funny. And I will provide examples as we, go here. But we got to the room fast enough that we were only like the second or third row back. So we were really close. And she comes out and she's cute as a button. And there's somebody that has like a camera that's recording the panel. And he comes right up the middle of the aisle and is like really close to her. And before, she's saying hi and greeting us. And then she looks at him and she's like, do you think you have the camera close enough? Is there something in my nose? Is there something in my teeth? Like she called him out and I loved it.
Back up, please.
Yeah. And he backed up really quick. And then she started talking about how she ended up, getting the role of Ariel. And, she was talking about the process of making it. It was she's a woman of faith. She's sweet. She was just great. She shared a lot of herself with us. And
That's
I really
awesome.
liked that. But then when they started doing questions, people are coming up. She's being very kind. But this one little girl came up. She recognized this little girl from coming to her table like the day before and remembered her by name.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's
called
so
her by
sweet.
name. And let me tell you, the question that this little girl asked Jodie Benson, how many times have you failed at something in your life?
What?
Yes! Like, this was a little girl, like, elementary age child asked her this. And Jody was like, honey, I feel it things every day. I feel it things a million times over. It happens all the time. But,
Yeah.
you know, you use it, you grow from it. You know, it makes you who you're going to, like, the fact that this child asked this question, I wanted
Yeah.
to be like, baby girl, are you okay? What are you
Right?
going through?
Gen Alpha is a whole nother breed. Let's just
what?
say that. Gen Alpha is a whole nother breed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're, I don't even know with them. They're maybe too in touch with their emotions.
A little bit. A
Yeah.
little bit.
So the panel was great. And then she got to like the end of it. And she said, I like to save the last 5 minutes for something special. I like to sing a little song. And she said, I do this not for me, but for all of you, so that you can channel back. And like, I'm getting like teary eyed just talking about this. She said, so you can channel back to when you first heard this song,
Aw.
the first memories that you have of it. And you can have that moment for yourself. And like, as she's talking, like, I felt a lump in my throat. And I'm like, I looked at Elliot and I'm like, I'm going to cry. I'm going to ugly cry. And she started singing. She sounds just as beautiful in person as she does. I mean, she's probably sang that song millions of times.
Millions,
by now.
yeah.
Seriously, I'm getting teary eyed. It was so beautiful.
You are
My
so
daughter
cute.
was sobbing. Elliot was sobbing behind me because she was like, Mom, she's like, you and Dad used to sing that song to me at bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing her sing it, it was like having Ariel sing a bedtime story to me.
Aw.
So she's sobbing. There was grown men in this room that were crying at Jodi Benson singing. And then I will say, when she got done, I started the standing ovation for her.
Yay.
So she earned it.
She did.
I will pimp this out for MegaCon. The VIP passes are really expensive, and I didn't do one. But the actress that played Little Leia on Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
she was coming into that room directly after Jodi Benson. And if we had a VIP pass, we could have just stayed there for her panel, which I really wanted to see.
Awesome.
But because I didn't have a VIP pass, we had to clear out, and
then come back in.
We weren't able to get back in. So that sucked. I didn't get to see her, but there was more good stuff to come, so that was okay. We went downstairs. We explored a little bit. We saw some fantastic stuff. The station wagon from National Lampoons was there.
I saw that and I was like,
yeah,
Stacy, loved that.
Yeah. The Batmobile was there. The Ghostbuster cars from the new movie and the older movies, they were both there.
Awesome.
Wall-E from the Disney movie Wall-E was there.
I love
his
Wall-E.
head turn. He was so cute. C-3PO was there. And I have like 3 pictures of him where I was taking pictures, but the person that was controlling him kept moving him towards me. So it looks like I'm being stalked by not C-3PO, excuse me, R2-D2.
R2.
It looks like
Okay.
R2-D2 is stalking me in
That's
these
funny.
pictures. I did see C-3PO, but he was not walking towards me. The Mandalorian
That would
was
have kind
there.
of been creepy.
Yeah, because it's basically a dude in a suit.
Exactly.
There was a giant, for our Pokemon listeners, there was a giant Jigglypuff there.
I thought that was Kirby.
No, it was a Jigglypuff.
Okay.
It was enormous, and it was a Jigglypuff. So we saw that. We had our little lunch. That's the other thing, is when you go to the area to sit down and eat, you're not going to get a table to yourself. That's not how that's going to work.
No, I would never expect that.
No, you're going to have to find like a couple chairs at somebody else's table and ask if you can sit there.
Yeah.
So you're going to be sitting with strangers. But
do they offer food there for you to buy? Do you have to bring yourself food? How does that work?
We bought our own because we're used to doing the theme parks. So we
Right.
just pack our food when we go places. But they had pizza. They had Nathan's hot dogs. They had
Which
a
we can't
Starbucks
eat.
booth. Yeah. So they had like food vendors there. But again, the price up on their food is pretty extreme.
Yeah.
And you and I both can't just eat anything.
Right.
So normally I just bring my food.
Yeah.
So we did that. And then from there was when it was time to go figure out the process for the celebrity photos.
Yes.
We were going to go get our picture taken with Gwendolyn Christie. And the process for their celebrity photo ops was the biggest clusterfuck. It was the biggest downside of MegaCon.
Okay.
To the point where I will do autographs in the future for more than one reason, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
But the one big
Photo
reason
ops.
is that the organization for the photograph or the autographs is spot on. The photographs, it's just a mess. And if you have problem with crowds at all, this is not for you.
Right.
The way that they did it is they're supposed to be groups and they're calling people in. So I want you to picture probably 100 to 200 people clustered into one tight area trying to hear one dude with a microphone.
Oh, gosh.
Okay?
No.
And everybody's crushing together trying to hear him, trying to hear when you can go in, if your group has been called yet. Like, everybody's waiting in this area and nobody knows what the hell is happening. And this is also when we met our friend that we ended up hanging out with for a couple hours afterwards.
Okay.
Because she was going to meet Gwendolyn Christie too. And she happened to be in the same group as us.
Okay.
So she's like, cool, let's hang out together. We can fight our way through this together. Now, everybody's shoulder to shoulder. You're in this tight area. When they call your group, what kind of magical way do you have to get through there?
Just
you hold your hand in the air and try to fight your way through the crowd. Nobody really moves out of your way.
Of course
They'll
not.
like give you enough room to pass, but we're talking there's people.
Yeah.
On
and you're short,
either
so you have tall people.
Yes. And there's people like everywhere around you, closed in, and you're just like hand in the air trying to fight your way through this insane crowd.
Yeah.
That part was miserable. Like, I was telling Elliot, if Jay, my husband, was there, he would have been like, no, fuck this. I'm
out. Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And I don't know necessarily that Scott would do it either. I think like
It would depend on who it was.
Yeah.
For the most part, he'd be like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
He doesn't like crowds.
No, it was bad. It was bad. And then, but once you get through there, once you get through that crowd and you're into where they're like, you know, okay, this is where the groups are, then the lines are nice and organized. And that part is great. But that initial crush, it makes me think of, you know, Disney, how they do their queue for like Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah.
When you just get a text message when it's time for your group to go.
Yes, that would be very nice. That was like simple. The best thing that I ever had was when we finally got the tickets for the Rise of Resistance. Like 7:00 in the morning, got our tickets, got our thing. And then they text us and they're like, your time is between this time and this time. And then we went and then you just get in line like normal.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that would not be hard for them to implement.
No, not with having that many people. There's so many different ways to do that.
Yes. So I hope that they will change that up.
Yeah.
This
is obviously not their first time doing this con.
No, it's been going on for years. And I don't know how they've done it in the past, but this is how it was this year. And it was a clusterfuck. And I knew I had to come back and do it again because we were going to see Lana Parrilla. Yeah. So I'm like, Great.
Great.
So we went in and we got to meet Gwendolyn Christie, who is absolutely gorgeous in person.
Yeah.
And beautiful, sweet. But here's the thing is like you see these pictures of people with them and you're like, oh, you got to talk to them for a second. No. You can say hi, you can say bye. That's it. And they're lovely people, but it's literally picture, go, picture, go, picture, go.
Okay.
Whereas if you go to the autograph booths, if you have a gift for them, you can give it to them. If you want to talk to them for just a second, you can talk to them.
Okay.
You can actually speak to them for a minute.
But with the pictures, it's not like that.
It's not like that with the pictures. So that I will do the autographs from this point on. I won't do the pictures.
Yeah. And you're not just necessarily allowed to take pictures with your phone when you're doing the autographs.
No. So you're most likely just going to end up with their autograph, but
that's okay because that's a special memory that you get to hold in your heart for the rest of your life.
Well, and if somebody else that's in your group is like snapping pictures on the slide, nobody's going to like tackle you with their phone.
Right.
So I think that's more the way to do it.
Yeah.
But it's more for the photo ops and you don't actually get to talk to the people.
I remember when I just had Emma. I think she was a few months old. I went to a concert and we ended up getting like VIP passes for like really cheap to meet the band afterwards. And the whole time I like got their autographs and I was like, okay, I'm ready to leave. Yeah. Like I need to get back to my child. This is the first time away. And like they kept looking at me and like they finally were like, are you okay? And I was like, I just had a baby and like I'm having separation anxiety. And they're like, oh my goodness, how old? And I was like 2 or 3 months. I can't remember exactly. And they're like, okay. And they give me like this big hug and they're like, go on. It's okay.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that.
I was like, I wanted to hang out because I love you guys, but like, I still love you, but I gotta go.
I love my daughter more and I have to go.
Yeah. And they're probably like, yes, I don't have to be here all night.
Yeah. But of course, I did tell Gwendolyn Christie that she's beautiful, and she was very sweet about that. And Ellie told her she loved her.
Yes. Which Ellie,
she didn't ask her to marry her. Oh my God.
She was cheesing so hard. I loved it.
Oh my God. She was ready to propose right then and there. I told her before she went in, because my daughter's very small. She's like 4'11". And I was like, you are not allowed to ask the very tall woman for uppies. Do you understand me? No hands. Uppies. No, we're not allowed to do that.
No. I looked at that picture and I was like, is that what Scott looks like when he stands next to you guys?
It is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Completely. Because they're the same size, right? He's 6'3"?
He's 6'5".
Okay. Well, she was wearing heels. So, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she smelled so good.
Yeah.
Like, girlfriends smelled wealthy, if that's a thing. Like, she smells fantastic. You're like, girl, you rich.
You rich. You got that rich cologne.
You got that rich people soap. From there, she was going to do a panel after that. So we went and stood in line for that panel, which the room her panel was in was bigger than the room we host Once Upon a Book in.
Oh, wow.
And she filled it to capacity.
Okay.
Like, people came out. And we unfortunately couldn't stay for her whole panel because we were going to go meet Lana Parella.
Right.
Get our picture with her. But we got to listen to her for a little while. And this is the thing for people that have never been to a panel before or to a con before. The panels, to me, I could just go from panel to panel all day.
Yeah.
Because that's where you hear the cool stories. That's where, they're actually able to talk and be themselves a little bit. And I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
The panels, like, I could go to the panel discussions the entire time.
Absolutely. Like, I've only done Once Upon a Book, and the panel discussions there, I love listening to them. I love listening to everybody's ideas and getting more inspiration. And like, it's just fantastic. So this past year, when I wasn't able to go to Once Upon a Book, I was really
Fucking
sad.
COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
COVID sucks. But I really like, that's my favorite part. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love going around and buying books and being at Once Upon a Book, but I do love the panels a lot.
Yeah. That was,
Yeah.
we had some really good panels at OUAB. I know you missed it,
Yeah.
but like people were there to deliver messages and to give people like good tips. It was fantastic this year.
I
Those were
look
good ones.
forward to this year's. I
Yeah.
am like 3 weeks before mask every day. Like, I'm not going anywhere.
So yeah, that's something that I would do more of, is I would do more panels. But we ended up having to scoot out of hers a little bit early to go back for Lana's, and fight through
That crowd again.
That crowd again, which it's just as bad the second time. Like you still have to hold your hand in the air and fight your way through the crowd. I don't like that. But we got in there, and you know, I got to meet Lana, and she's just absolutely gorgeous. I loved her as Regina on Once Upon a Time. I loved her in the second season of Why Women Kill. She's beautiful, just as beautiful in person as she is. She told me she liked my dress. I didn't hear that because she turned her face more towards Ellie at that moment.
Yeah.
But Ellie was like, she told you she liked your dress and you didn't say thank you. And I'm like, I didn't hear her.
It's really loud in here.
Yeah, it's very loud. So we did that, and that was fantastic. But while we were in line to see Lana, there was this woman. And here's the thing, like, people come to this in all sorts of costumes. And I did it too. Like, I didn't wear a costume, but I was meeting the evil queen, so I wore a dress with apples all over it. It seemed fitting. And I wore my high-heeled Converse that I got for your wedding. Because it seemed like it would be... Thank you. I did too. But here's... I wore them without socks.
Oh, ouch.
Because I couldn't find the little lacy ones that I got for your wedding. So I wore them without socks. And when I was in line to meet Lana, and this is something for anybody that's going to go, they're going to try to wear a costume or go for a certain look, you need to understand shit's going to change throughout the day.
Absolutely. You're on your feet all day long.
And you're walking on hard concrete floors at MegaCon. So that floor is not giving, you know, it's not like when you walk on like padded carpet or padded wood floors that like they give a little bit under you. This is hard concrete.
Yeah. That's what you deal with when you work in a kitchen. You're on tile floor all day long. It's not forgiving.
Yeah. It's hard on your joints.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in line to meet Lana,
sorry,
my daughter kept, you know, are you excited? Are you excited? Because Lana was the one I really wanted to see. I love Gwendolyn Christie, and I'm so happy that we got to see her. But Lana is, she was for me. She was my guilty pleasure. Like Charlie, who played Jax on Sons of Anarchy, was there.
Yes.
Hayden Christensen was there. Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich from Scream were there. All of people I would have loved to see. Yeah. But I decided if I was going to splurge and see anybody, it was going to be the Evil Queen. Yeah. So that's
it's fitting.
It is. It is. But as I was in line and she's like, Mom, are you excited? I kept saying, I'm really excited because when we're done here, I get to take my heels off and put my slides on. That was the thing I was most excited about in that particular moment.
Slides.
I'm like, I'm going to take my heels off and it's going to be great. And there was a woman next to me who had made a bell dress for this.
Okay.
And it was gorgeous. It was absolutely beautiful. Beautiful layers of this gold fabric. Awesome. I watched this woman melt into a puddle of princess on the floor beside me because she was so hot and so sweaty and so tired of lugging that dress around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, that's
accordingly
the thing.
To your outfit.
just know whatever you're going to do, whatever you're going to put together, it might be okay for an hour or two, but you need to plan for the long term. Like, thankfully, I
Yes.
brought another pair of shoes with me. I could change them out. But be prepared.
Right. I mean, that's
That-
what we kind of learned at Once Upon a Book. You have the ball the night before. And
Yes.
I think the first year we all went all out. And then the second year, like, we're going to tone this back a little. Let's like do, what was it? Was it superheroes the next one? No.
Caught in the Classics was
Caught in
the
the
next
Classics.
year.
Yeah, I wore I was super pregnant then too, but I wore just a simple black dress with the Scarlet A.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was Katniss Everdeen, so I was dressed very comfortably.
Yes.
You know, year one, I was Regina from Once Upon a Time. I had
Right.
the beautiful ball gown, and
Right, and I had the
cloak.
corset, and that was like, okay, I can't wear a corset for another 5 hours.
Yeah, that was the problem. I remember Grandma made me the silk.
Yes.
It wasn't silk, it was satin, but it had the high collar Evil
yeah.
Queen, and it was layers of that satin fabric, and I had to take it off. And when I took it off, it was, and I know a lot of people hate this word, it was moist.
Yeah.
Because I was so sweaty. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Another thing that I learned as far as costumes, gentlemen, if you're going to wear a skin tight bodysuit of any kind, make sure that the fabric has a little bit of give, and maybe put something on so that we don't all become intimately familiar with you.
Oh, goodness.
Girl, I'm not even kidding. There was a guy that I looked at and I was like, oh, wow, I know more about you than I should. Like, whoa.
I don't need to see your penis.
I saw everything. All of it. It was all clearly outlined. And he was there with people. Like, none of his friends could be like, dude, hey, Kevin, we can see your balls, dude. Like, nobody could help a brother out. Just let him know that you need to put a cup on, something. You need a cod piece. Just
That's hilarious.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought you
also
were
saw
going to say
women-
the men were a little too friendly with the women.
No, they have signs posted everywhere, and I loved this, that says cosplay is not consent.
Yes, I love
because
that.
wearing this costume does not give you the right to touch me.
Good.
If you would like a picture, you can ask. And there's giant signs of that.
I love
So
that.
I loved that.
Yeah.
They were and that shit wasn't tolerated.
Yeah.
But again, there's women that are wearing like these little tiny booty shorts. And these are women that are very blessed in the posterior and the boobage area.
Yeah.
And they're wearing these skimpy pieces of fabric. And they're putting more faith in that piece of fabric than I've put in any human being ever.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I look forward to us going to Dragon Con.
Dragon
in
Con.
August. Yes.
Yes. I'm going to be on panels for that one.
Are. I'm so excited. I get to be your assistant.
Me too. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Dragon. I'm going to a Polycon.
Right.
In April. That's in Washington, D.C. If you get a chance. Oh, that was the other thing, is when I was walking through the vendor booth, because when I go to events like this, what am I normally looking for? I'm looking for authors I know. Yes. So I'm like walking up and down, looking at the things, trying to find names of authors I know. I'm like, I've got a rounded corner, and Stephen King's going to be there, and I'm just going to shit myself. Well, that's not what happened. But so no.
Yeah.
But I know when I go to Dragon Con, when I go to a Polycon, that is going to happen, and I'm very excited about that.
I'm excited. But you can come and see us at any of those.
Exactly. A Polycon is in Washington, D.C. in April. Once Upon a Book is in Frankenmuth, Michigan in July. And Dragon Con is in Atlanta, Georgia, in the end of August, beginning of September. Right?
Yeah, I think it's over
Yes.
Labor Day weekend.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's my take on this whole event.
Well, I'm jealous that I missed it. I wish I could have flown down and seen you and went. But I had to
Well,
be
if you
sick.
would have come down to see that, you also would have seen me fall through my garage floor or my garage attic. So
I grabbed your feet, pushed you back up.
what are you doing? The stairs are over there. Why are you coming through this way?
I would have been on the phone. 911. Hello.
She hasn't hit the ground yet, but it's not looking good.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, that's all we have for this little episode.
Yes.
It's kind of a mini, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.